Welcome to Coastal Foraging with Craig Evans. Again, we're here on the west coast of Wales on St Bride's Bay. Again, come down kindly with Jack and Lily. The intention today is not just to forage, we do some foraging and show you a bit about some wildlife. We're going to release some lobsters back into the wild. Lobsters which have already got berries on. I've not foraged them, but I've rescued them really from lobster wholesalers. So apart from taking, we're putting something back. So I hope you enjoy. So yeah. Again, Jack, I'm delighted to show you what we have here in
thank you.
West Wales.
We're doing a taster of Wales, so we've come down from the north and now we're down here again with Craig. It's great to see, and it's good to see what we can get and cook up again.
Yeah. Even though the north is beautiful, the south is much better.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Just going up to the bank here now. You're going to pick something called scurvy grass, which is it's called, not a grass, it's a member of the mustard cabbage family. Scurvy grass is so named because sailors many years ago to come ashore and pick this plant because of its high vitamin C content, and that then stopped them getting scurvy, hence the name. So we get some now and we put it in our what am I going to do afterwards? Make a little bit of a dip. Very spicy, don't it? Tasty?
Yeah, right.
Chop them up and put it in a dip.
Oh.
Sharp?
Too much for you.
Too much? Yeah.
Good reaction.
Thank you.
Really?
It's like wasabi a little bit.
Yeah,
like
well, that's wasabi, yeah.
Oh.
Really?
That's right, yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Get it? You'd be surprised what's in there, innit? Different tastes.
Oh my god.
Just come across this seaweed now, known as sea spaghetti. It grows, quite lucky to see this. It grows on this little disc on the bottom, attached to rocks. This has been obviously washed up by the storm. It's past its best now, but when it's in its prime, probably about August time, you can cook this and it's got a texture just like pasta, and it's delicious. It's a very good eating seaweed. And, like I say, it's been washed up in the winter storms. Right, we're at the western end of the South Wales coalfield now, on St Bride's Bay near Newgale, and where we are in particular, this area was subjected to lots of earth movements many millions of years ago, and it's twisted all the strata up and buckled it, as you can see. These now are the actual remains and the coalified parts of the trees themselves. Some of the branches there, and at the top, very interesting part of the world. And these would have been living here about 300 million years ago, when this part of Wales at the time, due to plate tectonics, was in the Caribbean. When coal seams formed, they formed in coal swamps, then they subsided and were buried with sandstone, and there's a few of these events taking place, so you'd have had these layers just like a gateau. So if you can picture, say, a gateau with 6 slices and the cream in the middle is the coal. That's what a normal coal field is like. But because of plate tectonics and things, in this case about 160 million years ago, it's all like crushed up. So the coal is like fluid and the sandstone is harder, and it gives way to all these different buckles and shapes. Seaweed now is a mixture of serrated rock and bladder rock. If we come down to the base, you can see that there's some species of something called flat periwinkles feeding on the algae that lives on the seaweed. And they come in different colours. You can get a green version, a yellow version, a lovely orange version of it. And that's as big as they get. They're not eating the seaweed, but eating the algae that grow on the seaweed. If you close up on that one's moving with its tentacles out there, see him, Jack? Yeah. We've come here now to show you some edible things that we find locally. And just down on the rocks, we've got these things that look like periwinkles, but they're not. They're actually top shells. They taste the same as periwinkles. They eat the same food, which is microalgae on the top of the rocks there. If you look inside, you can see that they're got a mother of pearl effect. A few other things here as well. These little bits of seaweed and dog whelks. And there's some beadlet anemones there, and some limpets. And later on we can lift some stones and see what we can find under the stones. Hopefully some fish and starfish and sea slugs, various things. Here we've got some dog whelks now. They come in various colours, just to show you. Dog whelks are carnivorous snails. What they do, they feed by eating acid in their stomach, which comes out through a tube in that groove, and they actually bore holes in mussels and limpets, all other shellfish, and then digest them from the inside. And if it wasn't for these things, there'll be too much of the other stuff, all the balance. But nice to eat. Boil them and take them out with a pin or a cocktail stick. Eat them like periwinkles. Very nice. In this rock pool now, there's a low water seaweed, only found on the lowest of tides, which is this. It's called sugar kelp. Laminaria saccharina. Saccharin is, I believe, Latin for sugar or sweet. These now grow to about 3 or 4 meters long and as wide as that. This is it's winter, so they're very young and sweet. Now they're called sugar kelp because if this is dried out, it'll have like a dry icing sugar type dusting on it, and it's something called mannitol, which is a natural sugar. And if you've ever had flat chewing gum, it's sometimes dusted in that kind of stuff. Seaweed itself is edible and it's delicious. So if you put that under the grill and dried it till it's crispy, it'll actually taste like smoky bacon. You're not kidding.
Smoky bacon.
It'll taste like smoky bacon. It's delicious. Now, when it's bigger, then it's also known as poor man's weather vane, because when it's dry, it goes hard and dry and solid. But when people years ago used to hang it outside their houses, so when there was moisture in the air, it would go limp like that. So that to tell you then that there's wet weather coming. So very useful and delicious. You can, from a foraging point of view, you can wrap prawns up in it like that, or wrap fish in it and cook it in the oven. Delicious. Taste. You might not get a bit of the sweetness on it now, but you get a little bit. Little bit. But when it's dry and you get the powder on it, that's the actual sugar. When you're picking any seaweed, don't pull it up. I cut it just at the bottom, so that seaweeds don't have roots. They have something called a holdfast, and then a stipe, and they grow from that. If you pull it up, it won't grow. So if you leave it, it'll regrow. Do that with all seaweeds. And by June of next year, these seaweeds will be probably 10 times as long as that and that wide. One of my favourite seaweeds, pepper dulse. To me it tastes like a cross between garlic and chilli with truffle, also known as sea truffle. I love eating this. Out of this world. and we're going to cook this with some of our mussels later on. Right, this is now called Chondrus crispus or Irish moss. Chances are whoever's watching this has eaten it, because it's used in cosmetics, it's used in toothpaste, it's used to thicken ice creams, and it's used as a thickener in many food additives. In fact, you can make a pudding with this. You could simmer this with milk. You could strain then the seaweed out, and the milk would set like a jelly. Again, a very useful seaweed. Seaweeds come just like in land-based forests. You get like a canopy, which is the higher trees, which is what the kelps are. Then you get the understory then, which are other types of seaweeds. Like in a forest you get like honeysuckle or hawthorn, and these seaweeds take that place. But you also get a turf seaweed. Now this seaweed here, this pink stuff, this is called Corallina officinalis. It's called Corallina because it's got these little gritty pieces in, which are actually calcareous apatite. In medicine, I believe, they use a compound of this because it's apatite, similar to human bone, and they use it as a cement to fuse bones together.
Oh, is that edible?
No,
Oh.
it's not poisonous. It's just gritty, you know. And like these seaweed, if you put them all in water, hot water, they all turn green. Most seaweeds, well, they all photosynthesize. So the deeper the seaweed, they have different colours. So the ones that live higher up on in the water column, they're just like plants, they'll be green. But the lower down they are, they tend to be brown or red, because they're then able to utilise the wavelengths in the sunlight better than because they can't access it further down the water column. We're going to lift some stones up now, but it's vital that when you lift stones up, you always put them back in the same manner that you find them, because when you look underneath, you see lots of other things like dogwort eggs, anemones, there's a fish, seaweeds, and these will be exposed then if you leave them as they are, and seagulls will come in and eat them, so they're only there for shelter anyway. So have a little look, see what's in there. There's a little starfish called a cushion star.
Nice.
See another starfish there, Jim?
Yeah.
The crabs there, look, and the dogwort eggs. Yeah, a crab there.
Oh yeah.
See? And that one. There's the eggs of the dogworts that they've laid. These are special kind of crabs called broad-clawed porcelain crabs. They're not true crabs because they've got one pair of legs missing. And what they do, see these, they're called broad-clawed because they've obviously got broad claws. And how they feed is they comb the water column and catch plankton and things, so they filter feeders really. But very common. So
Is it bigger than that?
no, that's the size. They're big ones, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And again, put the stone back.
There's a crab under that one.
Yeah, the same one.
That's that
Yeah.
Look at the eyes. I'm not sure last time you catch it or
The
not.
bigger one down, you can
Yeah.
cook them.
I'll put this down later. But look at the eyes, are so red.
One of my favourite fish now. This is about only a small one. This is called a scorpion fish. Grows to about so big, and got spines over them. And they come in the summer normally to feed on prawns. If you turn it over, it's normally got a nice bright blue iridescent stomach, belly on it, on there, and a huge mouth. These spines aren't sharp or poisonous. It's got a huge mouth, and if you open the mouth up, it's quite a big mouth anyway, and it's an ambush predator. It hides away between the stones and gulps prawns and small animals as they pass. Lovely little things. Put him back. Another little scorpion. Another scorpion fish. See? You know there? It's called a strawberry anemone. Beautiful creature this. Yes. So before lifted out of the water, his tentacles would have come out. It's called a strawberry anemone because you can see the look at the green dots on the red. It's a baby baby velvet swimming crab. There's a prawn I saw there. There's a cushion starter. What is it? Fish it. Well, that's a male chaniers. I must tell you about the breeding colours. The male now, its lips go white and he goes a dark colour. Quite sharp teeth, quite powerful jaws, and like I said, they can walk from pond to pond. They're not eels, they're actually pipefish. We've got 3 species here. We've got these worm pipefish, we've got the snake pipefish, which is about that big with the bright blue bands around it, and we've got a greater pipefish which can be about that big and it's got huge scales. These have got tiny mouths and they only eat plankton and a member of the seahorse family. Like seahorses, once the female lays the eggs, the male then will put them on his stomach and it'll incubate the eggs, the male will, same as seahorses. Part of today's expedition is to come to this lovely part of the world and release some lobsters, which were kindly donated to me by my friend Mark Williams of Williams Shellfish. And what we have now, I haven't foraged this, it's come from his tanks and it's lost its claws somehow. It's actually a female full of eggs, so it can still feed because it's got these pinchers, but it won't be able to fight. So we put it back and hopefully it'll discharge these eggs when they're fully ripe and form hundreds of other little lobsters. So we put him safe in the big pool there and we watch him swim away. Right, so we release it back now. It's an Atlantic blue lobster. So let's put him away. Her away, obviously here with all the eggs. And there she goes. This is the second lobster that I'm going to release now. Again, it's full of berries or eggs. It's got a means of feeding itself with these claws. But his main claws have either been eaten in a fight or whatever, and if you can see that it's growing them back, so in time they'll grow back into a new set of claws. So, and we'll release it back now and again see the hopefully see the benefit in a few years time.
Yeah, I get up and I may fall right back down, but your love lifts me back to solid ground. Oh, I've come too far in this to raise my flag and call it quits. So I keep on pushing through.
Just to say a bit about conservation. Now, foraging isn't just about taking, it's about putting back as well. So this is the third lobster we're going to release today. Again, it's a female, heavily pregnant with eggs. So we're going to put it back in the water now and hopefully it will repopulate this area. It's quite a big lagoon. So we put 2 further up, this one here, and in a few years hopefully 2 or 3 of these eggs will be formed into little lobsters.
Yeah, I get up and I may fall right back down, but your love.
The eggs now being wafted by the mother, keeping them oxygenated. will turn. In about half an hour's time, the water will be about this deep, and in about 4 or 5 hours, it will be 20 foot above us.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, I get up and I may fall right back down, but your love lifts me back to solid ground.
This is lava seaweed now, which is what we make lava bread with. We can't eat it straight off the rock because it needs cooking, and to cook it, it needs to be washed off it to get any sand or grit off it, and then boiled first of all, then simmered for about 3 hours. As much liquid as possible then needs to be drained off, and then it needs to be pureed, and then you end up with nothing to do with bread, but it's known as lava bread, or bara lawr in Welsh. So delicious and really good for you. Let's start off now. I've chopped up some wild garlic, put in the bottom of the saucepan with some butter. I'm going to put in some wild fennel as well, which has a very, very strong aniseed taste, to give it a very well with fish. And I'm going to put in as well some of the pepperdals we picked a little earlier. I made a dip with cider vinegar, some of the wasabi flavoured scurvy grass we picked earlier, wild garlic in there, with some of the pepperdals, some lava bread. Once you've had a mussel, you can try another dip, it should be nice. Just showing you the difference now between the mussels that are available live in supermarkets. I bought these in a supermarket yesterday compared to the mussels I picked yesterday. Just been selectively gathering the mussels now under the water there. This is just to show you what I've managed to get in about 10 minutes, quarter of an hour. Nice big mussels. Yeah, productive place. There's the mussel bed which is exposed, and this is the sea pool that is always underwater. And if you can see on there now, I'll just stick my hand in and show you some of the nice sized mussels. So you know, it's a good size, and we'll gather some of these. And if you look just there, you can see that they're partially buried in the mud. That one there, so you know, nice and clean and delicious. So we'll see what recipe we'll get with them tomorrow. Difference being is, as you can see, quite substantial. These are, I believe, they're rope grown in Scotland. The shells are a bit thinner than these, but obviously the size is quite substantial. And we cook them both now, so you can make your own minds up. Okay, right, so we'll fry off the garlic and the butter first of all. A bit of effect as well. I'm going to put in some of the dip. Right then, got some lovely Carmarthen Bay mussels in now. This is how I pick them. Take the byssus thread off. Just scrape off the barnacles, there you are. That's the stragglers. Don't fry that because it'll ruin the flavour. So put it in like that. Lava bread in. Good stir. Put the pepper buds in. sometimes get killed in it. Right, we've got Carmarthen Bay mussels now, which picked yesterday. And we've wild garlic, wild fennel, in there as well some butter, pepperdils, and some laver, cooked laver bit. So yeah, it's been cooking there now, and very nice, successful.
Delicious on their own. The sauce is so much taste. It's interesting.
Yeah, but in there there's cider vinegar and olive oil and all the other herbs that come together. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Myself, Jack, Lily and Llew have had a great time.
Yeah, it's been great today.
And the weather's for the middle of winter, it's 10 degrees, a little bit windy, but a nice day all the same.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
We were actually coming in and expecting snow, but I think we're a bit too early for that.
But one benefit has been we've released 3 lobsters into the various deep pools here to lay their eggs, and I estimate there's about 20,000 lobster eggs going to be
There's a lot of them.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see.
So like I say again, thank you for watching, and look forward to seeing you next time. But if you wish to subscribe, don't forget to click the bell for notification. And I do run courses for this type of foraging, and if you want to know more, just go onto my website www.coastalforaging.co.uk.
Link will be in the description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'll see you next time.
Bye.
He's a sucky.